Hello, I'm Quentin Brown from the St Peter's Singers of Leeds, and I'd like to tell you about One Equal Music, our project to record some inspirational choral music here in the Victoria Quarter. Now, this is music that is written to make the most of the wonderful and unique sounds of human voices singing together in resonant places like cathedrals and churches. It can be utterly awe-inspiring and moving, deeply affecting, but too often this music does not leave the cathedrals and churches, and so many people never get to hear it. Now, the Victoria Quarter is actually an upmarket shopping centre where many people come to go about their daily business. But it is also an inspired and magnificent piece of architecture, creating space and light which people enjoy by walking around or sitting in the Harvey Nichols espresso bar. The roof is the largest stained glass window in Europe, and so this place is really a kind of cathedral of commerce. And it has acoustics to match, as we've discovered singing Christmas carols to customers at the espresso bar after the shops have closed and the quarter has settled down into an almost spiritual peace. Last year, alongside the carols, we sang Morton Lauritsen's O Magnum Mysterium, and it was rapturously received by the audience, many of whom may never have heard music like it before. I'm passionate about bringing this music to people who've not heard it. It's simple and accessible. You don't need a musical education to enjoy it. There's something in it for everyone. And so we're going to pay a couple of impromptu visits here during shopping hours and see what happens. And then we're also going to perform a concert live at 8 o'clock on Sunday the 6th of July, to which anyone in the area can drop in. And if all goes well, and with your help, we will record a CD so that those who can't be here can also enjoy it. I really believe that anyone who hears this music cannot go away unaffected.
Well, of course, the interior of the Victoria Quarter has its wonderful acoustic qualities, all kind of ready-made. What we're looking at is essentially a street that's been covered in and surrounded at the top with a spectacular assembly of secular stained glass. Obviously, we're used to stained glasses in cathedrals and churches with religious portrayals, but it's very rare, or comparatively rare, to see a large public space enhanced by stained glass. Etched plain glass, yes, but not stained glass. And the glass is very high up, which gives a great loftiness to it, in the same way that many cathedrals are really not all that large, but very, very tall.
Everyone's really excited about this project with the St Peter's Singers. It's the chance to sing some of the most fantastic music ever written in an incredible venue, which really to sing in, it's like a dream. And we're all really looking forward to sharing the sound that we make with everyone else.
It's some absolutely stunning music in an amazing building, and the choir is so enthusiastic and excited about this kind of music, and some of it I've never sung before. It's such a way into this style of music, and it kind of makes me question why I've never sung some of this music before when it's absolutely beautiful.
I'm hoping that we can tap into the kind of soul of the music, the thing that makes people close their eyes and get transported to another place. And it's the kind of thing that I've experienced when we've been doing Renaissance church music. And I think what's exciting about this is that we are doing a contemporary equivalent of that kind of church music in a building, which is kind of like today's cathedral. So everybody goes shopping on a Sunday. They don't, no longer, most of them go to church. So it's kind of like a strange parallel with the Renaissance music that the contemporary music is emulating.
One of the pieces that we're singing is the work of the famous York Minster organist Sir Edward Bairstow, who came to Leeds in 1906 to be organist and choirmaster in the city's parish church. And the very first summer, he wrote an extraordinary piece for the choir, very difficult to sing technically, not long. Many of his pieces are only 20 or 30 bars long, but immensely intense. And it sets part of the ancient liturgy of St James, which takes you back to the very earliest days of the church in the 3rd and 4th centuries. And behind me here on the piano, we have the original manuscript of that piece, which is one of our great treasures. And it's illustrative of Isaiah's vision of the cherubim, with all those busy angels, day by day, night by night, all with their 6 wings, ceaseless in their praise. It's called Let All Mortal Flesh Keep Silence. And it is dramatic, inspirational, and somewhat spooky by turns.
We started about 3 months ago, and the first thing to do was to talk to the choir, and it has to be said they are really enthusiastic about this. In fact, some of them have made very generous donations. We've also been talking to the management of the Victoria Quarter, and I can't thank them enough because they have been fantastically helpful and supportive. Provisionally, we've engaged a sound engineer who's got extensive experience and a great track record of recording choirs on location. We've made some grant applications, and a friend of ours has generously donated all our printing costs. So at this stage, we're in a really good place.
I think we're talking about equal access to music, because there is certainly a feeling that music is for the privileged or for the older generation, or for the people who can afford expensive tickets. And I think what's exciting about this project is that anybody can access it. It's music that's going to be in a public place, where people can walk through, people can listen, people can stop. And certainly when we've been rehearsing, we've realised how music draws people, how people stand outside and they just stand still and listen to the music, and it transports them somewhere else.
Okay. Let's see if that was a fluke out as you're really going to get.
You don't need any special knowledge of music, and you don't have to be any particular age. It appeals to everybody.
Well, my best favourite pieces are the 2 Harris pieces. And I think they're the pieces that suit the venue really well, because I think they were written about the same time that the venue was constructed, the arcades. And I think we're really lucky to have these arcades, because in many towns and cities, they've ripped down that buildings from that kind of era. And those managed to survive. And now, of course, they're valued. Well, the thing about the Harris pieces is that they're very resonant, because they're written by an organist. And organists like to play with resonance, that's what they do. And they also like to play with chords. And Harris has an incredible way with chords. You're sitting on a chord and then he just takes the bottom out and you just drop through the hole, which is amazing. It's like being in a lift. And I don't know anyone else that writes stuff that's like being in a lift.
It will be my last thing ever in Leeds, this project, and it's incredibly sad. I've had 4 years of amazing music here, but it's such a brilliant way to go out. I honestly can't think of a better way to go than singing beautiful music in such a stunning place with some of my best friends.
Well, you may be asking, what's in it for me? Well, donating now is a great way of pre-ordering the CD or a download of the tracks. And there's some good high-end perks as well. I'm also hoping that you may find a sense of satisfaction or even fun in helping this groundbreaking project to take flight. One equal music. Pure, exquisite music for everyone. Thank you for your interest, and I hope your contribution.